Justin Bieber's latest social media move has sparked a shocking chain reaction, one that completely overshadows Usher's recent courtroom revelations.
Justin Bieber is getting candid about his anger issues. On March 22nd, the Grammy winner shares a series of photos on Instagram where he opens up about working on his anger. He writes in the caption, "I got anger issues too, but I want to grow and not react so much SMH." Justin then shares another message in a following post that reads, "I think I hate myself sometimes when I feel myself start to become inauthentic. Then I remember we're all being made to think we're not enough, but I still hate when I change myself to please people." In addition to the post on his main feed, the singer shared a screenshot from a 2019 post from his wife Hailey Bieber, where she opened up about wanting to be, quote, more vulnerable in the upcoming year. He writes over the pic, "Still relevant boo." In recent weeks, the 31-year-old has been especially active on social media, sharing some cryptic messages in addition to regular photo dumps. On March 13th, the singer got candid about personal struggles and feeling, quote, unworthy. Writing to his Insta story at the time, "I personally have always felt unworthy, like I was a fraud. Like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky, like damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I really am, they wouldn't be saying this." He added, "I definitely feel unequipped and unqualified most days."
It all began when whispers of courtroom drama collided with the blazing spotlight of celebrity social media. Reports surfaced that Usher, the acclaimed R&B icon once closely tied to Diddy's world, was preparing to testify in court, shedding light on his turbulent past with the bad boy mogul. As new details about Diddy's legal battles emerged, the stage was set for a dramatic twist. Then, just as the media frenzy reached a fever pitch, Justin Bieber, known for his raw commentary and sharp sense of justice, made a move that rocked the foundation of the entire scandal.
If Usher's testimony aligns with any of the ongoing investigations or lawsuits against Diddy, things could take a serious turn. We're talking about possible charges, legal ramifications, and maybe even jail time. Experts are already saying that if Usher brings solid evidence or a compelling story to the courtroom, it could be game over for Diddy. But that's not all.
Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy count?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows. The white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, "Yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp?" And Usher said, "No, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp."
Radio person.
But yet still you praise him.
Damn, man, and you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Theories are now circulating that Usher's involvement with Diddy may have also impacted Justin Bieber, who Usher mentored when he was just a teenager. Some insiders claim that Bieber, like Usher, may have been exposed to Diddy's alleged dark world during his rise to fame.
Man, it's clear, young, that Usher gonna be called to the stand. Usher gonna be called to the stand. Justin Bieber is gonna be called to the stand, and I'm here to tell you, man, they're gonna try their best to sugarcoat it as much as they can. But when they start asking them facts, forget about it, man. Them facts is gonna come out so strong. DJ Khaled, he's in way too many of these pictures. He done spent way too much time with Puffy. He gonna get called to the stand. I mean, if I was a lawyer and I'm looking at all this stuff, like, who's this guy? Let's look him up. See how much dealings he had with, he was at the parties, he getting all the videos. He dealing with all the, he did a song and did a little group song with Mary J. Blige. Justin Bieber was in the song with that, "We the best music," you know, all that Brandon type stuff. And dude, Usher, come on, Usher, you gotta get on the stand and tell the truth, man. Nothing but the truth, so help you God.
For decades, Diddy and Usher have shared a long, complicated history. In the 1990s, Usher viewed Diddy as a mentor, someone who opened the doors to the glittering world of hip-hop, even inviting the young singer to live under his wing during the formative years of his career. But behind the scenes, whispers of wild parties, questionable behavior, and secretive backstage dealings painted a darker picture. Usher's memories aren't just nostalgic flashbacks. They're windows into a powerful era where influence often came with a hidden cost. Now, as Usher prepares to take the stand, the question looms: what exactly does he remember? And could those memories unravel Diddy's carefully crafted legacy?
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
The result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're gonna put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there, you got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight, we would tussle.
People claim that Usher allegedly got uncomfortable after speaking to Diddy at the dinner table.
It's nothing like fellowshipping, right. So we see each other around, but we don't get it. Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long.
How much did we drink?
You don't even know what's going on. You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should, but I'm trying.
Well, you drank that beer, you drank 2 shots of tequila.
Yeah, right.
You drank 1 Kuiper Roche.
Let me say fire it up. Yeah. That's your group, right? Fire it up.
I like that.
Fire it up.
Your forehead is sweating like Uncle Leroy.
It's hot as hell.
It ain't that hot.
What's your thoughts on this?
Legal experts speculate that Usher's upcoming testimony won't be a simple stroll down memory lane. Instead, it could shine a harsh spotlight on the darkest corners of Diddy's controversial past. From lavish, high-profile parties drenched in excess to long-standing whispers of misconduct, the courtroom may soon become a stage for revelations that have haunted the mogul for years. With each detail threatening to emerge, pressure is mounting. Insiders claim the walls are closing in, and sources hint that Diddy is scrambling behind the scenes to contain the fallout. If Usher's words validate even a fraction of the explosive allegations tied to those infamous gatherings, it could be a devastating blow to Diddy's already fragile legal position. Some say it's a combination of truth and timing.
I think it's a combination of, and I think we can all kind of agree to some extent, everyone knows Puffy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, in some way, shape, or form through his music. He's had a huge influence in the way that we look at hip-hop, the way we look at millionaires, billionaires, fashion, things like that. And then all of a sudden, we have this massive criminal case. And I think a lot of people are looking back and saying, well, I heard a whisper, I heard a rumor. Is this connected? Is it not? And I think both as an attorney and as just a person who was born in the 80s, this fascinated me, and I really appreciate ABC and everyone involved, because when I came with a crazy idea of like, what about a podcast? People were like, you know what? Yeah, let's see how this works.
How significant is it that this federal judge just dropped multiple charges from Lil Rod's civil lawsuit?
So I get that it's a big headline, and it is significant if you're looking at it just as this civil lawsuit. And I think the Rodney Jones lawsuit was massive in the sense that it led to the raids of Sean Combs' homes, because in that lawsuit he said, this is where the videos are, this is what he's doing with it, all these allegations, and likely led to this federal indictment. But the reason why these charges got dismissed is because of pleadings. The way that the attorney pled out the charges with RICO, for example, that highest charge, and couldn't connect an alleged criminal enterprise to the damages that Rodney Jones says that he faced. Now, does that mean that Sean Combs had a RICO enterprise? Maybe, maybe not. But it means in the civil lawsuit, it's not going to apply. So for his federal indictment, that criminal case, that's still going on, and that's probably a bigger issue for Sean Combs overall.
The difference between sex trafficking and consensual sex is force, fraud, or coercion. They are going through their victims and they're saying, how can I establish force? How can I establish coercion? Probably not so much fraud, right? Because ultimately this case is about sex trafficking. You know, there's a prostitute counts, and prostitution is different. Prostitution just means that the sex happened, but there was an exchange of something of value. But the feds aren't trying this case to convict Diddy of prostitution. They want to get to sex trafficking. So their entire focus right now is to prove that the sex involved that force or that coercion, right? Was it people being drugged against their will? Was there security? Were there weapons, right? That's why even though he wasn't charged with the weapons violation, they really talked about the rifles, the assault rifles in the indictment. So I think that's going to be the focus of the Department of Justice in this case. How can we improve that force? How can we improve that coercion?
It's going to be interesting to see what they bring forward, because it does seem like they have a lot of evidence. I'm glad you brought up the weapons issue, because you're right, it wasn't a charge, but it's still in the court documents. Talking about the defense side of things, we've kind of inferred what their plan is, at least what we can expect. But as of right now, this next 5-ish months, what do you think the defense team is doing to prepare for the trial?
In the middle of all the chaos, Justin Bieber added an unexpected twist. He unfollowed Usher on Instagram, a move that surprised both fans and people in the music industry. Many believe it was a clear message. Timing was strange too. Just as this happened, Usher's entire Twitter history was suddenly deleted after a supposed hacking. This made people wonder, was it really a hack, or was Usher trying to avoid being linked to Diddy's scandal? Bieber's decision to unfollow Usher has shocked many online, and some think it's more than just a simple social media move. It might be a sign of something much bigger.
Justin Bieber just unfollowed Usher on social media, along with a lot of other people that he's associated with in the music industry. Now, why does this matter, and why the heck do I care who Justin Bieber is following? Well, the people he unfollowed actually have a connection to each other, and this may have a deeper meaning. Usher was Justin Bieber's mentor growing up, and the one that mentored Usher was P. Diddy. In fact, he was sent to Bad Boy Records, P. Diddy's record label, to work with him when he was just 14 years old. And then Usher went and eventually owned his own record label with a man named Scooter Braun that Justin also unfollowed, and they signed Justin when he was just 13 years old. See the trend? Justin also unfollowed a man named Pooh Bear, who wrote and produced a lot of his songs and was his mentor earlier on in his career. He also unfollowed Allison Kay, who was a former manager. He also unfollowed Ryan Good, who was the best man at his wedding and basically his stylist. He unfollowed Kenny Hamilton, which was his security guard, and he was Usher's former assistant. Looks like Justin Bieber wants out of this whole mess, and maybe he knows something is coming.
You got Justin unfollowing Usher, so you know what the fuck that's about, right? Right? Like, why would he do it? You know? And Usher looked kind of uncomfortable talking about this. So, and plus, Diddy locked up. You got a whole lot of shit coming down the tail end of this shit, right? Coming out the tail end of this shit, coming down the totem pole, right? I mean, we as people on the outside looking in, we probably can assume that yes, some bullshit happened. You know, it's the industry. Diddy was fucking around with goddamn Clyde Davis. You know, Diddy fucking around with all these motherfuckers. What's the name, man? What was his name? Cause this one nigga name, damn, I forget his name, but it's Diddy God. He's a godfather to Diddy's sons and his children and shit. I forget his name.
Then come the headlines about Hailey Bieber spending all of Justin's money. Why did he sell his catalog? Is he going to go broke? Friends are concerned. They're concerned because he's unfollowing people. Oh my God, he must be having a mental breakdown. Look, guys, it is clear that Justin Bieber wants out. He probably can't even speak out because of incredibly complicated contracts. You know who also warned about that? A certain Mr. Kanye West. Take a listen.
We can't just say, oh, it's okay for people to like super complicate deals and to collude on deals and to not look at us as human beings, as artists and athletes and actors, that we have to be willing to like stand up for that to be able to change something. And we need to come together as a society to be the first civilization that actually became civil.
But despite these super complicated contracts, people not being able to speak out, people being fearful, people being threatened, people being told and gaslit in the media when they're just saying something, trying to say that something bad happened to me, that I am being treated badly. Despite this, we are seeing that people are brave and people are learning ways to work around them. Young artists are somehow working around these super complicated deals. I mean, saying a lot with something as simple as an unfollow. So that is what Brett Cooper did, by the way, recently. Everyone's speculating. A couple of unfollows will let you know what's really going on. Maybe not fully, but kind of giving you an idea. And to see Justin Bieber doing this, he is signaling hard right now.
Fans have been quick to analyze Bieber's behavior, linking it directly to the fallout from Diddy's recent arrest on serious federal charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and even prostitution. Reports even mention bottles of baby oil found alongside key evidence, raising even more eyebrows. With the stakes higher than ever, one burning question remains. What exactly has Justin Bieber so fired up?
The court, by the federal rules of evidence, they can take judicial notice of certain facts or allegations, meaning take them as true, and incorporate them into his complaint in a way. And here, Jones argues that the court should take judicial notice of the allegations from the federal criminal indictment that Combs faces and a number of other sexual assault and misconduct lawsuits that Combs faces, and use that to support Jones's claims in his complaint. And he argues that he didn't fail to state a RICO claim, for example, because based on the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, what he had to say in a press conference, we're talking about Damian Williams, after Sean Combs' arrest and formal charging, and also the federal indictment itself, Combs and his enterprise, he makes the argument, are presumed guilty of being a RICO criminal organization, and that he has properly pled the structure and hierarchy and members of this enterprise. Tell you what, presumed guilty, we're going to get back to that in a minute. The court definitely had something to say about that. Now, when it comes to the sex trafficking claim, Jones argues that the alleged shooting, the alleged assaults, the alleged displaying of firearms, the alleged threats, those are all evidence of force, fraud, or coercion. In terms of the claim of sexual assault and the argument, well, you needed to provide more details for this claim, well, Jones responds, and I'm just going to read this to you verbatim. If the defendants would like plaintiff to draw a diagram, plaintiff would happily oblige.
Yeah, the way it's laid out in this lawsuit is a man who says he met Diddy back in 2007. He was a Vegas adult male entertainer, said he was retained for dances and so forth, but then it turned into sort of these sex parties that we've heard all about. And he says the baby oil was slathered all over him to the point that it was dripping off. And he says after it was applied, he began to feel drowsy, disoriented, all of those things, and became more sort of pliable to do this sort of sexual things that Diddy was directing him to do, according to the lawsuit.
As he says, Diddy watched, we're not going to get more specific. It's about as graphic as it gets based on this lawsuit. But suffice it to say, Diddy was up close and personal watching.
It's extremely graphic, and as you pointed out, the feds pointed out those 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's mentioned in the criminal indictment, but never further than that. It sounded like kink shaming, you know, sort of maybe he was into baby oil, but there's no crime involved with that. It looked like it was just a pot shot at Diddy. If this is part of the forensics of what they gathered from his compound during those raids, it's going to add an entirely new dimension to this case.
Now, Charles, the one thing that I didn't quite know from the lawsuit, although I'm assuming, is that if this is true, I guess they would have taken the bottle and unscrewed the cap
and opened,
and then pour in whatever the drug is, and then close it. But I don't think he would have done it to 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
No, but you would keep if this is true, you keep the baby oil stocked, and then you open it and put whatever in.